Good evening, dear friend. Wherever you are tonight, perhaps wrapped in a blanket or watching snow drift beyond your window, welcome back. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from? And what time is it there? I love seeing your voices from every corner of the world. Tonight, we open one of the most beloved tales of all time, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, a story of ghosts and grace, of cold hearts and warm light, carrying the timeless spirit of Christmas through every shadow. So breathe softly. Let the world fall quiet around you. And listen. Our journey begins here. Stave 2, the first of the three spirits. When Scrooge awoke, a darkness deep as pitch wrapped the room, so that from his bed he could scarcely tell where the window ended and the wall began. The faint light that might have guided his gaze was swallowed by shadow, and still he strained his sharp, restless eyes into the gloom. Then, through the silence, the chimes of a distant church began to murmur, the 4 quarters, and he waited for the hour to strike. But what a strange thing befell. The great bell tolled on, from 6 to 7, from 7 to 8, onward to 12, and then was still. 12? Whispered Scrooge. Yet it had been past 2 when he had gone to bed. Surely the clock was bewitched, or frozen by an icicle in its heart. Muttering, he pressed the spring of his repeater to test the time. Its quick, mechanical pulse struck 12 and ceased. "Impossible!" he cried. "Have I slept through a whole day and into another night? Has the sun vanished from the heavens, and this is noon turned to midnight?" Troubled by the thought, he sprang from the bed and stumbled to the window. The glass was glazed thick with frost, and he was forced to rub it clear with the sleeve of his dressing gown before he could glimpse the world beyond. But even then, little could be seen, only a pall of fog and bitter cold. No sound of footsteps, no carriages, no voices echoed through the streets. All lay silent, as though night itself had conquered the day and claimed dominion over the earth. And at that eerie stillness, Scrooge drew a breath of relief. For had the days truly perished, all his ledgers, notes, and promises of payment would have meant nothing in a world where no morrow would ever come. When Scrooge returned to his bed, his thoughts would not be stilled. They turned and twisted like restless shadows upon the wall, circling back upon themselves, no matter how he tried to chase them off. The more he sought to quiet his mind, the louder it grew. The more he forbade himself to think, the deeper thought took root. Marley's ghost clung to him like a chill that no fire could drive away. Whenever he told himself, most sensibly as he thought, that all had been but a dream, his mind leapt back, as a wound-up spring released, to that dreadful question again. Was it a dream, or was it not? So he lay, caught between dread and disbelief, until the clock had nearly reached the hour. Then, all at once, he remembered the ghost's warning, that a spirit would visit him when the bell struck one. He resolved to keep awake until that moment had passed, for sleep, he felt, was as far from him now as heaven itself. The minutes dragged like stones, tied to the tail of time. More than once, he thought he must have dozed and missed the hour. But then, faint and hollow, the chime began. Ding dong. "A quarter past," muttered Scrooge. "Ding dong." "Half past," said he again. "Ding dong. A quarter to it. Ding dong. The hour itself," he cried, almost in triumph, just as the deep, mournful one rolled through the house like thunder from beneath the earth. Light flared in the room, sudden and blinding. The curtains of his bed were drawn aside, not those behind him, nor those at his feet, but those nearest his face. And there, as he sat upright in trembling wonder, he beheld the hand that drew them, and the being to whom that hand belonged. It stood before him, so near that he could have reached out and touched it, a figure both young and ancient at once. Its form was small, like a child, yet the air about it was heavy with age. Its long white hair fell upon its shoulders, yet the face was smooth and tender, as though untouched by time. Its arms were strong, its hands powerful, though it seemed as fragile as mist. It wore a robe of purest white, girt about with a shining belt whose gleam wavered like starlight on rippling water. In one hand, it held a green branch of holly. In strange defiance of winter, its garment was trimmed with summer flowers. But most wondrous of all, from the crown of its head sprang a clear, bright jet of light, by which all else was seen, and under its arm it bore a great extinguisher cap, as though to quench that very glow. And yet, even as Scrooge gazed upon it, the figure wavered like smoke, now clear, now dim, now tall, now small, now many-limbed, now limbless, its shape shifting and dissolving into the gloom, then gathering itself whole again before his eyes. "Are you the spirit foretold to me?" Scrooge whispered. "I am," came the answer, soft and low, like a voice heard across a dream. "Who and what are you?" he demanded. "I am the ghost of Christmas past." "Long past?" asked Scrooge, eyeing the spirit's childlike form. "No," said the ghost, Your past, no, your past, why it stirred him so. Perhaps even Scrooge himself could not have told. Yet some hidden yearning urged him to behold the spirit's face beneath its cap, and he pleaded that it might be covered. "What?" exclaimed the ghost. "Would you so soon put out, with worldly hands, the light I give? Is it not enough that you are one of those whose passions made this cap, and force me through whole trains of years to wear it low upon my brow?" Scrooge bowed deeply, protesting that he meant no offense, and knew nothing of ever having wronged the spirit in such a way. Then, mustering courage, he ventured to ask what errand had brought the ghost to his chamber. "Your welfare," said the ghost. Scrooge gave thanks in a stiff manner, though he could not help but think a night of peaceful sleep would have served that purpose far better. Yet the spirit, who seemed to hear even unspoken thoughts, replied at once, "Your reclamation, then. Take heed." And as it spoke, it stretched forth a strong hand and laid it gently upon his arm. "Rise and walk with me." It would have been of no use for Scrooge to protest that the hour was late, the frost bitter, and his bed warm, that he wore but slippers, a dressing gown, and nightcap, and that a cold already troubled him. The hand that held him was gentle as a mother's, yet held a power no mortal could resist. He rose, but seeing that the spirit moved toward the window, he clutched his robe in fear. "I am a mortal," Scrooge remonstrated, "and liable to fall. Bear but a touch of my hand there," said the spirit, laying it upon his heart, "and you shall be upheld in more than this." No sooner were the words uttered than the walls melted away like breath upon glass. They stood upon a lonely country road, the fields stretching white and silent on either hand. The city had vanished. No stone, no sound remained. The darkness was gone too, for before them shone a clear, cold winter's day, and snow lay crisp upon the earth. "Good heaven!" cried Scrooge, clasping his hands. "I was bred in this place. I was a boy here." The spirit looked upon him kindly. Its light touch still seemed to linger upon his heart, awakening scents and sounds from long ago. The resin of old wood, the breath of fields, the faint echo of forgotten laughter. 1,000 memories stirred, bright and sorrowful alike. "Your lip is trembling," said the ghost. "And what is that upon your cheek?" Scrooge muttered, his voice catching strangely that it was a pimple, and begged the ghost to lead him where it would. "You recollect the way?" inquired the spirit. "Remember it," cried Scrooge with fervor. "I could walk it blindfold." "Strange to have forgotten it for so many years," observed the ghost. "Let us go on." So they walked the frost-silvered road, Scrooge naming every post and gate and tree as though they were dear old friends. Soon, a small market town rose in the distance, its bridge arched over a winding river, its church steeple glinting pale beneath the winter sun. Shaggy ponies trotted past with boys astride them, calling gaily to others in carts and gigs. Their laughter rang out until the fields themselves seemed to join in, the air bright with merriment. These are but shadows of the things that have been, said the ghost. They have no consciousness of us. The travelers came near, and Scrooge named each face with a trembling joy. His eyes gleamed, and his heart leapt as they passed, boys shouting, "Merry Christmas!" to one another before parting down snow-white roads. And strange it was that this cold man, who once despised the very word merry, should feel such warmth upon hearing it again. "The school is not quite deserted," said the ghost. "A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still." Scrooge said he knew it, and he sobbed. Down from the high road they turned, following a narrow lane that seemed to remember old footsteps. Soon they came upon a mansion of dull red brick, its roof crowned with a little cupola where a weathercock bent wearily to the wind, and a bell hung silent in its frame. Once it had been a proud house. Now it stood broken in fortune and spirit. The wide offices were long unused, their damp walls furred with moss, their windows shattered, their gates crumbling away. Fowls strutted through the empty stables, and wild grass had conquered the coach houses and sheds. Within, the ruin whispered the same tale. The great hall was dim and chill, and through its open doors they saw rooms vast and poorly furnished, cold as tombs. The air smelt of earth and loneliness, like a place where people rose too early and ate too little. Through this dreariness, the ghost and Scrooge passed, until they came to a door at the back. It opened of its own accord, revealing a long and melancholy schoolroom. Bare wooden forms and desks stood in rows, and by a feeble fire, a lonely boy was reading. Scrooge sat upon one of the benches and wept to see his poor, forgotten self as he once had been. No sound in that old house escaped him. Not the faint scurry of mice behind the panels, nor the dripping from a half-thawed waterspout, nor the wind sighing through the branches of a leafless poplar, nor the creak of an idle storehouse door, nor even the whisper of the fire. All fell upon Scrooge's heart and softened it, loosening the floodgates of his tears. Then the spirit touched his arm and pointed toward the boy. And suddenly, outside the window, stood a man in foreign garments, vivid and strange, an axe at his belt, leading an ass laden with wood. "Why, it's Ali Baba," Scrooge exclaimed in ecstasy. "It's dear old honest Ali Baba. Yes, yes, I know. One Christmas time, when yonder solitary child was left here all alone, he did come for the first time, just like that. Poor boy." "And Valentine," said Scrooge, "and his wild brother, Orson. There they go. And what's his name, who was put down in his drawers, asleep at the gate of Damascus? Don't you see him? And the Sultan's groom turned upside down by the genie. There he is upon his head. Serve him right. I'm glad of it. What business had he to be married to the princess? Had his business friends in the city seen him then? His voice trembling between laughter and tears, his face alight with wonder. They would scarce have known him. "There's the parrot," cried Scrooge. "Green body and yellow tail, with a thing like a lettuce growing out of the top of his head. There he is. Poor Robin Crusoe, he called him, when he came home again after sailing round the island. Poor Robin Crusoe, where have you been, Robin Crusoe?" The man thought he was dreaming, but he wasn't. It was the parrot, you know. There goes Friday, running for his life to the little creek. Halloa! Hoop! Hallo! Then, as swiftly as the wind changes, pity clouded his joy. "Poor boy," said Scrooge, and he wept once more. "I wish," he murmured, drawing a hand across his eyes and fumbling in his pocket. "But it's too late now." "What is the matter?" asked the spirit. "Nothing," said Scrooge. "Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol at my door last night. I should like to have given him something. That's all." The ghost smiled gently and waved its hand. "Let us see another Christmas." At once, Scrooge's younger self seemed to grow older, and the room darkened. The panels shrank, the plaster fell from the ceiling, and the bare wooden laths showed through. Windows cracked. Dust thickened on every beam. Scrooge knew not how it changed, only that it was right and true, that thus it had been. And there he was again, alone, while the other boys had gone home for their merry holidays. He was not reading now, but walking to and fro in despair. Scrooge looked toward the ghost, shook his head sorrowfully, and cast a yearning glance toward the door, as if somewhere beyond it waited a happiness forever lost. It opened, and lo, a little maiden, far younger than the boy, came darting through the doorway like a sunbeam breaking into a winter room. She threw her small arms about his neck, kissed him again and yet again, and called him her dear, dear brother. "I have come to bring you home, dear brother," said the child, clapping her tiny hands, her laughter bright as bells. "To bring you home, 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 little fan," returned the boy. "Yes," said the child, her voice brimming with glee. "Home for good and all, home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be, that home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed, that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, 'Yes, you should,' and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man," said the child, opening her eyes, "and are never to come back here. But first, we're to be together all the Christmas long, and have the merriest time in all the world." "You are quite a woman, little Fan," exclaimed the boy. She clapped her hands and laughed again, and reaching up, being too small to touch his head, stood on tiptoe and embraced him with all her heart. Then, like a robin tugging at a ribbon, she caught his hand and tried to draw him toward the door. And he, with joy not to be hidden, followed her gladly. But a dreadful voice rang from the hall. "Bring down Master Scrooge's box. There!" And there stood the schoolmaster, tall and grim as an icicle, glaring with such cold authority that poor Master Scrooge's courage seemed to freeze within him. Yet the man shook his hand. Oh, the terror of it! And led the children into the oldest and chilliest of parlors, where the maps curled upon the walls, and the globes shone faintly with frost. There he brought forth a curious decanter of pale wine, and a block of cake as heavy as stone, serving each by careful measure, while a meager servant was sent to offer something to the postboy, who, recalling an earlier taste, politely declined. Soon Scrooge's trunk was lashed atop the coach, and the children, waving farewell without regret, climbed in and rattled down the frozen garden path. The wheels scattered frost and snow like silver spray from the evergreens, and laughter rang behind them. Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, said the ghost softly. But she had a large heart. So she had, cried Scrooge. You're right. I will not gainsay it, spirit. God forbid. She died a woman, said the ghost, and had, I think, children. One child, Scrooge returned. True, said the ghost. Your nephew. At that, Scrooge's countenance darkened. His thoughts turned inward, and he answered but briefly, yes, and though but a moment before they had left the lonely school behind, now they stood amidst the shadowy bustle of a city. Streets bright with lanterns, carts and coaches moving like restless dreams. The shop windows glimmered with holly and gold, for it was Christmas once more, and all the air trembled with evening cheer. The spirit halted before a certain warehouse door, and asked Scrooge if he knew it. "Know it," said Scrooge. "Was I apprenticed here?" They entered, and there, behind a desk piled so high it nearly touched the ceiling, sat a merry old gentleman in a Welsh wig. At the sight of him, Scrooge's eyes sparkled, and he cried aloud in joy. "Why, it's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart! It's Fezziwig alive again." Old Fezziwig laid down his pen, looked up at the clock striking 7, and rubbed his hands together till warmth seemed to fill the room. He adjusted his vast waistcoat, laughed from head to heel, and called out in a voice rich and round as Christmas pudding, "Yo-ho, there, Ebenezer, Dick!" And in came Scrooge's former self, now a youth full of life, followed by his fellow prentice. So began the merriest of evenings. "Dick Wilkins, to be sure," said Scrooge to the ghost. "Bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Poor Dick. Dear, dear." And behold, out of the mists of memory stood young Dick Wilkins, bright-eyed and loyal, beside his master in the counting house long ago. The air itself seemed to hum with the warmth of days when laughter echoed where ledgers once lay. "Yo-ho, my boys," cried old Fezziwig, that jolly horde of cheer. "No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up," he shouted, clapping his hands so sharply that the sound rang like sleigh bells. "Before a man can say, 'Jack Robinson,'" swift as elves, the two apprentices dashed into the street. 1, 2, 3. The shutters flew up. 4, 5, 6. They were barred and pinned. 7, 8, 9. They came bounding back, breathless as racing colts, faces shining with the glow of youth and Christmas mirth. "Hilly-ho!" cried Fezziwig, springing from his high desk, as if joy itself lent him wings. "Clear away, my lads, and let's have lots of room here. Hilly-ho, Dick. Chirrup, Ebenezer." And clear away they did, till every chair, stool, and table vanished like mischief at cock-crow. The floor gleamed, the lamps were trimmed, the fire leapt high, and the warehouse transformed itself, as if by fairy spell, into a ballroom, warm and golden, fit for a winter feast. Then in came a fiddler, with a book of tunes beneath his arm. He mounted the desk, scraped his strings, till the sound was merry and wild. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, her smile broad and shining like a harvest moon. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, blooming and radiant, and with them the 6 young fellows whose hearts they had already stolen. In came clerks and maids, bakers and cooks, the milkman and his friends, even the shy boy from across the way and the bold girl from next door. In they all came, some laughing, some blushing, some tripping, some tumbling, but all drawn together by the invisible thread of Christmas joy. Away they went. 20 couples whirling, hands clasped, feet flying, laughter rising like sparks from a hearth. Round and back, down and up, turning, weaving, circling again, until every dancer was the top couple and no one the bottom, the whole floor alive with motion and delight. When breath grew short and cheeks grew red, old Fezziwig clapped his hands. "Well done!" he cried, and the fiddler plunged his steaming face into a mug of porter before striking up again. Tireless as a man enchanted, there was cake and negus, roast and boiled, mince pies and foaming beer. Yet all that was but prelude to the marvel of the night, when the fiddler struck up Sir Roger de Coverley. Then Fezziwig himself stepped forth, and Mrs. Fezziwig beside him, partners true in every sense. The company drew back to watch, for none could match their spirit. His calves gleamed like twin lanterns, flashing this way and that, and hers moved with grace to meet him. Together they advanced and retired, bowed and curtsied, twined and untwined, till Fezziwig, with a merry cut, seemed to wink with his very legs and land as lightly as a snowflake. And so the dance went on, bright and boundless as the joy of Christmas itself, a moment so golden that even the ghost smiled to see it live again in Scrooge's heart. When the clock struck 11, the merriment of that humble Christmas gathering came to an end. Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig, good souls that they were, took their posts beside the door, and there, with warm hands and warmer hearts, they bade each guest farewell, one by one, wishing every man and maid a Merry Christmas. When all had gone, save for the 2 apprentices, they too received that kindly parting, and thus the laughter faded into silence, leaving only the faint echo of joy behind. The young men crept to their narrow beds beneath the counter in the back shop, where dreams of music and light still lingered. And through all this, Scrooge had stood as a man bewitched. His heart, long frozen, seemed to thaw in the gentle glow of the past. He lived again within the scene. Every look, every word was familiar, and the sweetness of it stirred him deeply. Only when the faces of his younger self and Dick faded into the darkness did he remember the ghost beside him, the spirit whose radiant crown now burned brighter than before. "A small matter," said the ghost, "to make these silly folks so full of gratitude." "Small?" echoed Scrooge. The spirit raised a hand, bidding him listen. From the shadows, the voices of the apprentices rose, praising old Fezziwig with earnest hearts. When their words had ended, the spirit spoke again. "Why, is it not? He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4, perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?" "It isn't that," said Scrooge, and his voice trembled with forgotten feeling. He spoke as the man he had been, not as the miser he had become. "It isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in words and looks, in things so slight and insignificant that it is impossible to add and count 'em up. What then? The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune." He felt the spirit's gaze upon him and faltered. "What is the matter?" asked the ghost. "Nothing particular," said Scrooge. "Something, I think." "No," said Scrooge. "No. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all." His younger self turned down the lamps, and in that fading glow, the vision melted. Once more, Scrooge stood beside the ghost in the chill night air. "My time grows short," said the spirit. Quick! The words were not spoken to Scrooge, nor to any mortal ear, yet their power stirred the air like the stroke of an unseen bell. The scene changed again. Scrooge beheld himself older, no longer the bright apprentice, but a man in his prime, whose face already bore the faint etchings of care and hunger. In his eyes gleamed that restless fire, the shadow of the tree, whose roots were greed. He was not alone. Beside him sat a fair young woman in mourning dress, and though her eyes were gentle, they were bright with tears that caught the light of the spirit's crown. "It matters little," she said softly. "To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve." "What idol has displaced you?" he asked. "A golden one. This is the even-handed dealing of the world," he cried. "There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth." "You fear the world too much," she answered gently. "All your other hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the chance of its sordid reproach. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion, gain, engrosses you. Have I not?" "What then?" he retorted. "Even if I have grown so much wiser, What then? I am not changed towards you. She shook her head. Am I? Our contract is an old one, she said. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so, until, in good season, we could improve our worldly fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man. Once, long ago, when the heart of winter still held the world in its grasp, there stood a man and a woman whose paths had once been one. The man spoke first, impatiently. I was a boy, he said, and she, calm as falling snow, replied, Your own feeling tells you that you were not what you are, said she. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now that we are two. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you. The man's brow darkened. Have I ever sought release? In words? No, never. In what then? In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in another atmosphere of life, another hope as its great end, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, said the girl, her eyes mild yet unwavering upon him, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? Ah, no. At this, the man seemed to yield, as though truth itself had taken him by the hand. Yet he murmured, You think not? I would gladly think otherwise, if I could, said she, her voice trembling like the last note of a harp. Heaven knows, when I have learned a truth like this, I know how strong and irresistible it must be. But if you were free, today, tomorrow, yesterday, could even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? You, who in your very confidence with her weigh all things by gain, or choosing her, if for a moment you were false enough to your one guiding principle to do so, do I not know that repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you with a full heart. For the love of him you once were. He would have spoken, but she turned away and went on. You may. The memory of what is past half makes me hope you will. Have pain in this, a very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly, as an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen. So she left him, and they parted. Then the spirit drew near, and Scrooge cried out, Spirit, show me no more, conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me? But the ghost's voice was like the tolling of an unseen bell. One shadow more. No more, cried Scrooge. No more. I don't wish to see it. Show me no more. Yet the unyielding ghost seized him fast and bore him onward. And lo, they stood in another chamber. not rich, nor fine, but warm and full of light. A woman sat beside the hearth, fair and gentle, so like the maiden before it that Scrooge believed her the same, until he saw her now as a matron, with a daughter near her knee. Around them tumbled a merry crowd of children, so many and so wild that the air itself seemed filled with laughter. Each child was as 40, and their mischief shook the rafters, yet no one scolded. The mother and her daughter laughed until tears shone in their eyes, and when the younger joined their games, she was seized and plundered by the little brigands in mock delight. Oh, what would I not have given to be among them? Yet I could never have been so bold to crush her braided hair or unlace the dainty shoe. Heaven forbid, nor could I have dared to measure her waist as they did, for I should have thought my arm would twine there forever as punishment. And yet, yes, yet, I would have wished to touch her lips, to see her eyes lifted in surprise, to let one lock of her shining hair fall free, a keepsake beyond all price. But then a knock sounded at the door, and like leaves before a gust, the children flew toward it, bearing their mother with laughing face and rumpled gown to greet the father returning home, his arms filled with Christmas toys and treasures. The shouts, the struggle, the storm of joy that followed were wondrous to behold, and through it all, the mother's smile glowed brighter than the fire itself. The children clambered upon him as though scaling a castle wall, chairs for ladders and laughter for ropes, diving boldly into his pockets and seizing the treasure of brown paper parcels within. They clung to his cravat, hugged his neck with fierce devotion, drummed upon his back, and kicked their heels in a storm of irrepressible affection. Their shouts rang like bells of wonder when each mysterious package was revealed. Then came a dreadful cry that the baby had been caught with a doll's frying pan between his lips, and it was whispered had perhaps swallowed a toy turkey glued fast upon a wooden platter. Yet soon relief swept through the room when this horror proved untrue, and joy and gratitude flowed like light after thunder. At last, by degrees, the uproar faded. Step by step, stair by stair, the children climbed to the upper chambers where dreams awaited them. And so the house grew still. Now Scrooge gazed more intently than ever. The master of the house sat by his hearth, his daughter resting lovingly upon his arm, while her mother smiled beside them. The firelight wrapped them in peace, and Scrooge, beholding them, thought that such a creature, graceful and full of promise, might once have called him father, might have been springtime to the winter of his life. His vision blurred. The fire seemed to dim. "Belle," said the husband, turning to his wife with a smile, "I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon. Who was it? Guess. How can I? Tut, don't I know?" She laughed as he laughed. Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window, and as it was not shut up, and he had a candle inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death, I hear. And there he sat alone, quite alone in the world, I do believe. Then Scrooge cried out, his voice broken, "Spirit, remove me from this place." "I told you these were shadows of the things that have been," said the ghost, "that they are what they are. Do not blame me." "Remove me," Scrooge exclaimed. "I cannot bear it." He turned upon the spirit, and seeing in its face the shimmer of every visage it had shown before, he wrestled with it in despair. "Leave me, take me back, haunt me no longer." Yet, though he strove with all his mortal strength, the ghost did not resist. Its light only flared higher, burning pure and steady. Then, as though seizing upon a desperate thought, Scrooge caught the great extinguisher cap and pressed it hard upon the spirit's head. The form beneath it vanished, but still the light streamed forth in an unbroken flood upon the ground. A light no hand could smother. And then came weariness, soft and irresistible. He felt his limbs grow heavy, his sight dim, and knew himself once more within his own cold chamber. His hand slackened its grasp upon the cap, and he had scarce the strength to stagger toward his bed before darkness took him, and he fell into a deep and heavy sleep.